Welcome to my video tutorial on using the Seamless Repeats generator, which is a Photoshop action that helps you create seamless repeats. This Photoshop action is available on envato.com. I'm going to assume as a prerequisite that you know how to install an action. If you don't, there's plenty of tutorials out there. But once the action is installed, you'll have 4 actions in the set listed right here. The first thing you want to do when creating your repeat is to create a new window. And you should keep that first window at a reasonable size. If you make it too big, it's going to suck up a lot of memory. You want to make sure you use either a white background or a colored background. Do not use a transparent background. Click OK, and you have your first window. And the first thing you do is make your repeats by clicking on the Make Repeats action. And that first action is going to create a second window. I'm going to open both of them up side by side here. One's big and one's little, and you're going to be working in the little window. There's additional tools that I'm going to show you and some tips and tricks, but for now what I'm going to show you is just how the basic action works. Anything I draw in this window, every time I hit save, Control S, it's going to be repeated 9 times in the window next to it. So let's go ahead and grab another color. And I'm purposely staying away from the edges. You don't have to, but it makes work a lot easier if you avoid drawing in the edges at first. So first you want to just work from the center out. And once you've done just about everything you can, and you want to start working on this negative space out here, you have some additional tools. You have the shift over action and you have the drop down action. So what the shift over action does is it moves the edge of a repeat to the center of your single repeat workspace. It's easier if I just hit the action so you can see. So I'm going to click shift over, and as you can see, everything moved over to the left, and now this area which was on the edge is now in the center. So now we can continue working. So let's go ahead and color that in there. Hit save. And now we're ready to fill in the negative space above and below, so I'm going to use the drop down action. And let's grab us some of this dark blue maybe. Fill that in. And we still got a little bit of a seam showing through right there. That's easily taken care of. Do a shift over. Obviously I'm just making random patterns here, but you can get as intricate with these designs as you want to. Now we have our repeats nice and clean all around. If I want to make that a little more interesting, maybe I could do a Gaussian blur on it. Clean up those edges again with my shift over. Maybe kind of smudge that around a little bit. Drop down. Okay, so there's a decent starting point. This action is compatible with things like layer styles, so I'm going to make a new layer in there, fill it with some color. I'm going to double click on that layer to open up my layer style palette and pick something interesting like that. Save that and maybe make another different shape right here. Make a new layer. And maybe something interesting like that. And we'll save it. Now let's go back into our actions and shift that over. Maybe let's do some sort of random lasso like that. Keep in mind that whenever you use the shift over and drop down, it flattens all your layers. Just something to keep in mind. So I'm going to create a new layer, fill that with color, and let's maybe do this one, add a drop shadow to it, save that. Once you have everything looking the way you want it to, the next thing you're going to do is save this as a defined pattern, and there's an action for that also. Right here, make pattern. Make sure that this window is active. Click on make pattern, and the pattern's made. So for example, if I wanted to make a bigger workspace here, like 2000 by 2000, let's say I'm using the paint bucket and I switch over to pattern and open up the presets for my patterns. If I go down to the very last one, there it is, click on it and use my paint bucket, and voila, there we have it. And that's about all there is to using these actions. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.